Are you eligible to vote?
Yes. The American dream to me is this, I guess, having a husband or a wife, kids, having a good job, having a little bit of money set back and everything like that to where you can just live happy and not just being weighted down, I guess the American dream. I would say today's American dream is still alive. Pretty much everybody still wants the same thing. I would say today's American dream is definitely still reality. I would say the American dream hasn't changed. It's still the same thing. Everybody still wants the same thing and to be happy and just to live that out. I would say no. Well, way back in the past, we had some things holding some people back, a lot of people back, and now I would say there's a lot more freedom and things to where people can express themselves in their own way and actually do what they want. So the American dream, a big part of it is freedom, and there's a lot more freedom now than there was back in the past, definitely. So,
Are you eligible to vote?
Yes, I am eligible to vote. I would define the American dream as being able to get an education, a good job, and raising your family in the happiness and love of Christ. The dream is very alive. You're able to get an education, have a wonderful job, and raise your children. I believe the American dream is definitely reality. Well, I do believe the American dream has changed over time. There are much more resources available now than it was before. I do believe that times now are harder than they are before to raise a family, but I do believe it can be done. I would like to say past generations were able to live their American dream. However, I know that most parents always want their children to do better than they did. So it's always something that we can strive to do better and to achieve more.
Are you eligible to vote?
Yes, I am. I define the American dream as family with enough resources not only to provide the needs, but to provide a majority of the wants. The dream of freedom, the dream of feeling protected, and the ideal of morals and ethics. The American dream is always alive. It's going to always be alive. It may change, but it will always be alive. Well, naturally, we all know it's a reality. Yes, everything changes. It's on a different level now. Before, with my parents, it was the ideal of owning a piece of land that they could farm and provide for their family. Now it's about getting an education and providing an education for your children so that they can provide for their family. Yes and no. There was part of society that allowed the generation to achieve the American dream, but they also oppressed another segment of Americans from achieving theirs.
Are you eligible to vote?
Yes, I am. I define the American dream as having a family, which would be a wife, maybe a few kids, a big house, and a steady job. But that answer could vary in many ways depending on your outlook of life, your income, and how you're living right now. So that's a question that's pretty much can't be answered. Depending on your outlook of life and where you stand at the moment, it could be fantasy or reality. For instance, if you're rich, it's definitely reality. And if you're poor, it's pretty much a fantasy or a part of your imagination. I have to say yes. At first it was a simple house, kids, maybe a dog, a car, and a good job. Now, the American dream has transformed into being rich and famous. Simply put, I have to say some might have, but not many, which ranged from World War I to II, the Great Depression, and, all the other big incidents, such as 9/11. It's not really too much people who could have lived a great American dream.
Are you eligible to vote?
Yes. I define the American dream as freedom to worship God as you please, and to achieve a measure of prosperity for yourself and your family. I think the American dream is very much alive. I think that with our president, each time he speaks, it kind of rebirths the American dream within all of us. I think it's a reality. I'm living it. I think that we as a people have changed, and as we have evolved, so also has the American dream. It's getting better. I think that because of the racial disparities in this country, that the blacks, our ancestors, weren't able to achieve the American dream as my family is able to achieve it. As I spoke earlier, the dream is evolving and it's getting better. And so while some Americans were able to achieve a measure of the American dream, as the racial disparities began to level out the playing field, I think that that dream has become achievable for all Americans.